The large majority of unsafe acts within any workplace is usually the last in a long chain of incidents. It's like a domino effect, where management errors that are often unintentional induce conditions that make it difficult to work safely. To blame people at the end of this type of chain is pointless. It fails to solve the real problem and does nothing to prevent accidents occurring again. Getting people to behave safely is one of the major challenges facing team leaders today. It's also one that most find difficult. In this programme, we will see some of the reasons why people behave the way they do, how we can motivate safe behaviour, and management techniques for identifying and removing the root causes of unsafe behaviour. You will see that these principles are simple but powerful and have uses beyond the management of health and safety.
Bill, you're not wearing your gloves. Surely you know that.
Yeah. Sorry, Mike.
You're the fourth person I've come across this morning not wearing them. I'm getting really tired of pointing this out. The thing is it is for your own sake. I mean, who's going to suffer if something goes wrong and you're not wearing them?
Well, me, obviously. OK, point taken.
Look, please, for everyone's sake, will you wear your gloves?
OK. Brat.
Good game. That's three to you, isn't it?
Yeah, next time I'll let you win. So, how's the new job going?
Well, considering I only started a few weeks ago, it's going really well, thanks, yeah. Oh, the one thing that I am struggling with, though, is health and safety. Trying to get people to behave safely, it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah, tell me about it. So how are you going to tackle it?
A number of basic points, including training, implementation and monitoring.
Sounds okay.
Well, they've all had the training and they know what's expected, and we regularly monitor them, but, you know, it just doesn't seem to work.
It should, but you do realise that asking or telling someone to follow a safety procedure, even a good one, doesn't guarantee that they will. There's a lot more to it than making requests, giving instructions, providing supervision.
This might sound less surprising if we can understand some basic principles of what motivates us to behave in the way we do. Before every action we take, there is always a trigger, something that starts us off. For example, when we see this red man, we stop and wait. When the green man appears, we walk. These signs usually trigger these very common behaviours. Everything we do always has some kind of trigger like this, even if it's just a personal desire to do something. Everything we do also has some kind of consequence. In this case, one consequence of using the pedestrian crossing in the correct way is that we're assured of remaining safe. What might sound surprising is that it's the consequences of our actions and not the triggers that really motivate our behaviour. For example, the same crossing, the same person. Imagine that this time they are late for an important appointment. They're familiar with this pedestrian crossing and know that it takes several minutes for the lights to change. There's a break in the traffic. What do you think he'll do? You guessed it, he ignores the lights and crosses the road. The trigger, or red stop sign, is not motivating his behaviour. The consequences are. You could think of it as a payoff. By not waiting for the lights to change, the payoff is that he gets there faster and is more likely to be on time. This all sounds obvious when you think about it, and yet so few team leaders or managers understand this simple principle, really understand it, when they're trying to motivate their colleagues. They think that by giving people the facts and then asking for certain behaviours, that people should then respond.
All these activities provide triggers for actions. And whether or not we get the behaviours we want depends far more on the payoffs within the workplace. I came across one situation involving manual handling. The team understood what they should be doing, lots of training had been given, but it proved very difficult to get them to lift safely in practice. What I realised was that there were some powerful payoffs for their risk-taking behaviour. Doing it the unsafe way made the job a little faster, and it was, according to them, more comfortable.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Oh, yeah, but another payoff is someone may well get a very serious back injury.
That's true, and it raises an interesting point. There are three aspects to any payoff. Payoffs can be certain or uncertain. It might happen or it might not. Payoffs can happen sooner or later. It might happen today or sometime in the hazy future. Payoffs can be positive or negative. It might be something we like, or it could be something we don't like. What's important to understand is that payoffs that are certain, soon, and positive have the most powerful influence on our behaviour. Those that are uncertain, later, and negative are the least powerful. Think about how this principle applies to driving. If you're late for an important appointment, it can be very tempting to break the speed limit. Clearly, one payoff of speeding is that you may well get there on time. However, extra speed has other potential payoffs. You're more likely to have an accident. Another is one that many of us are all too painfully aware of. In our haste, we could get a speeding ticket, possibly even lose our driving licence for a period of time. Given that we all know the risks, why is it that so many of us break the speed limit, particularly when we are late? You guessed it, the certain, soon, and positive consequences of getting there on time is a very powerful payoff. In contrast, we all tend to think that a speeding ticket is an uncertain, later, and negative outcome. It's a really weak motivator. Saving time, and not the threat of a ticket, is what really influences our behaviour. Interestingly, drivers have slowed down in areas where speed cameras are present. Why? Because it makes being caught a potentially sooner and much more certain outcome.
Saying to this person, don't do that because you might get a back injury sometime in the future, has virtually no impact on their behaviour, especially when there are competing factors like production deadlines and the added discomfort of doing it the way we want them to.
And that's because the health and safety payoffs are uncertain, later and negative, right?
Bang on. The soon, certain and positive payoffs of increased comfort and time savings win every time.
Every time?
Very often. You see, when trying to promote safe behaviour, I used to regularly depend on these weak payoffs, and I failed to notice the far more powerful short-term motivators.
So if people know how to behave safely but still don't, how about disciplining them on the spot? I mean, surely that's the way to get compliance.
You could, but what happens when you're not around?
Well, they don't comply.
Right, so you've got a policing problem. And what about morale? If you go around with a big stick all the time, it's not exactly going to inspire your colleagues, is it? Just like this.
So no matter how much we push people, what you're saying is it's the payoffs and not our triggers that motivate them the most.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how can I make sure that they get the right payoffs?
Well, a good way is to avoid blaming the individual and ask them why they're doing it. In my experience, there's always a reason for the risk-taking behaviour we see. Most people are committed and have the best interests of the organisation at heart. In their minds, they're not recklessly taking risks, but just trying to get the job done.
Okay, so by asking why, I can identify and then remove the payoff to the risk-taking behaviour.
In most cases, yes.
All right, I'll give it a go. Same time next week?
Why not? I like beating you.
Ah, one day. Your gloves.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
It's all right, I'm not having a go. I'm just interested in the reason why you're not wearing them.
I just forgot.
Look, it's okay. I just want to know if there are any problems, and if there are, we may be able to sort them out.
Well, these gloves, they don't really fit. They're the wrong size. It's as simple as that.
I tell you what, why don't you go to stores and get a different pair that do fit?
There's only one size provided.
You're kidding.
I'm not. Seriously. Look, we have different sizes for each and every other type of kit, but not for gloves. It's always been that way.
All right, well, I'll put in an order today and I'll order some different size gloves. No, I will. This is important. You've got to wear these gloves, and we can't expect you to do that if they're the wrong size, can we?
Yeah, fair enough.
By avoiding blame and asking why like this, it's possible to design out payoffs that reward risk-taking behaviour. By making the safe way comfortable and convenient, it helps to reduce the likelihood of risk-taking. However, this only removes the negatives. It also helps to reinforce safe behaviour with positive payoffs. Wearing the gloves, for example, needs to have soon, certain and positive consequences. A quick and simple way of doing this is to simply acknowledge safe behaviour. Positive praise is free and a far more powerful motivator than negative criticism. But ask yourself, how often do you reinforce safe behaviour in this way?
I've noticed that your production figures are very good, and safety's improved at the same time as well.
This type of positive feedback is essential, but if it's not handled carefully, it can become meaningless, even patronising. You don't need to keep on praising routine behaviour day after day. Unlike criticism, one small word of encouragement now and again can have long-term effects. It's also useful to create opportunities for people to achieve or contribute new things to managing health and safety. These situations are ideal opportunities to give praise because it's deserved.
If you ask why enough times, you can follow a chain of causes back to what might be termed the root cause of accident or ill health.
Do you mean like a domino effect? You can follow one onto the next?
That's a good metaphor, yes.
So if you follow the dominoes, you can then find and get rid of a root cause, and that'll prevent a lot of other accidents ever happening.
That's it. Almost 80% of accidents in any organisation share a small number of common root causes. It's called the Pareto effect, or the 80-20 rule.
And this is true for health and safety?
Certainly. By identifying and solving a single root cause, you will not only prevent the immediate unsafe behaviour you've already identified, but you can usually prevent many other accidents as well.
It sounds very useful.
It's a highly effective management technique.
So with my glove example, if I'd have kept going, I could have found out a lot more.
I bet you the next game on it.
You're on, and this time I'm going to win. I'm not having a go. I just want to make it as easy and convenient to work safely as I can, that's all.
Well, these gloves, they're the wrong size. They don't really fit. As simple as that, really.
Well, why don't you go to stores and get a different pair that do fit?
There's only one size provided.
You're kidding.
I'm not, seriously. Look, we have different sizes for each and every other type of kit, but not for gloves. It's always been that way.
All right, I'll investigate and see what I can find out. No, I will. This is important. You've got to wear these gloves. We can't expect you to do that unless they're the right size, can we? Right? Joe, what are you doing going through there?
Well, the pedestrian door's locked. It usually is this time of day.
All right, look, I can't stop now, but go and see if you can get it unlocked, can you?
You must be joking.
Oh, hi, Gary, it's Mike.
Hi, Mike. How can I help you?
Well, listen, one of my guys tells me that we only provide one size of gloves. Is that right?
Well, yeah, it is, yeah.
Well, surely that means that for half the people around here, they're too big, and for the other half, they're too small.
Well, we've only ever provided one size of glove.
But why? All other PPE provided is in various different sizes.
Well, basically, I've never been told it's a problem.
Well, listen, it's come to my attention that it is a problem and we really do need to order some that are different sizes. Would that be okay if you do that for me?
Yeah, okay. I'll sort something out.
Thanks a lot, Gary. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Right, the next item is gloves. Now, obviously, we've had a size problem, which we've sorted out, but it seems a really obvious thing, and I can't understand why any of you haven't said something.
Well, I just assumed that nothing would be done.
Well, why did you assume that?
Well, in the past, with our comments, no one's ever really listened.
If it's really important, then I'll keep on and make a fuss about it until something's done. But, well, with something like this, we just don't bother anymore. It's a waste of time.
Well, I do listen. I mean, it's vital that we have good communication and problems like this are solved. It may not always be possible for me to put it right, but I will listen and I'll do my best. Are there any other unimportant health and safety issues that need to be looked at?
Are you kidding? There's loads.
All right, let's hear them.
All right, for a start, I need a new pest.
In this example, a lack of communication in which team leaders didn't really listen and act on the suggestions of their colleagues had led to a whole series of unsafe acts. Not wearing gloves was just one symptom of this deeper-rooted problem. And so, getting rid of a single root cause can potentially eliminate a wide range of health and safety problems.
Those safety bags.
I'll make a note of it. Oh, by the way, does anyone know why the pedestrian door in the warehouse is usually locked?
Yeah, there's only one key and Bill Johnston's got it. Takes him till mid-morning to open it.
Well, why is there only one key?
I don't know, but it's been raised in the past.
Yeah, at least 3 times.
And let me guess.
No one listened.
It's a different problem, same basic cause.
It's always been the
Yeah.
same.
As you follow a chain like this, remember that accidents and ill health can be created by multiple root causes. If you like, the domino effect can start from more than one branch, which may also result in many different incidents of unsafe behaviour. Common examples of root causes include poor communication, as in our case study, ineffective training, poorly designed hardware, jobs and tasks that are impractical, or have conflicting goals, maybe between safety and efficiency, as well as poor management systems, which can, for example, lead to confusion about individual responsibilities. This is by no means an exhaustive list, but whatever you find, the approach of identifying and solving root causes with the active participation of your colleagues is a highly effective means of promoting a positive safety culture. It moves away from a culture of blame. It develops relationships where everyone makes an intelligent contribution. In this programme, we have seen that it's the payoffs and not the triggers that primarily motivate our behaviour. Unfortunately, we often unwittingly either use very weak payoffs for the safety behaviours we seek, or fail to see very powerful payoffs for risk-taking behaviours. Asking or telling someone to behave safely is no guarantee that they will. It's so easy to criticise an act that seems foolish or risky. However, when someone takes a risk, they will often feel that they have a good reason. If you ask with an open mind, they'll probably tell you why. If you investigate further, you'll often uncover a root cause that's responsible for any number of unsafe acts in your workplace. Now you understand what motivates people to behave unsafely, you can take effective action. Remember, there's always a reason.